Welcome to the Napa Home and Garden Show. I'm Wally Conway. Joining us on the Napa Home and Garden Show today from Garage Living is Gary DiStefano. Gary, welcome to the Home and Garden Show.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, your business is a passion of mine. I must share that with you, and that is the issue of garages. You know, as a home inspector, after being in 35,000 houses, I think there were only 5 of those 35,000 houses where people could actually park a car in the garage. How often do you run into the situation, not only does the person want a glorious garage, they're just thrilled to be able to park in it?
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest driving factors behind our company being in existence, is being able to come home, and as soon as you get home, you feel like you're there. You not feel like you're driving into a storage unit or having to park in the driveway and walk through a storage unit to get into your house. 90% of Floridians use their garage as the primary entrance to their home, and we want them to feel like they're at home as soon as they get out of their car.
One of the things I've noticed in a lot of garages where people are able to park and do have cabinetry, the majority of cabinetry I see in garages, frankly, is garbage. It's pressboard. It's not strong. It's not attractive. What are you doing at Garage Living that's so different?
Well, our biggest differentiator is all of our cabinetry is made out of 18 gauge or thicker steel, fully powder coated. 5 of the 6 lines are actually welded cabinet boxes, so you don't have any issues with moisture, humidity, change in temperature, or anything affecting a wood product that could expand and contract. And since it's fully powder coated, there's no need to worry about rust.
So you're putting storage cabinetry and other features into the garage that can perform like a garage, not like somebody's sewing room. That's awesome.
Absolutely. What Alex said, there's no IKEA furniture in our garages.
Excellent. I have nothing bad to say about IKEA. However, I don't want it in my garage. So when I want to do an extreme makeover in my garage, there's a lot of elements. I got to care to the floor. I got to care to the cabinetry, the storage. I could have overhead storage, maybe even the doors. Can you bring that all together in one project such that when I call you, you can help me with the design, and when you leave, I've got a dream garage?
Absolutely. We do everything from simple floors to entire renovations where the client doesn't even want to be involved. We show up, we empty out their garage, we do all the products including flooring, cabinetry, overhead storage, slat wall storage, car lifts, anything they need to organize and beautify their garage. Then we put everything back for them, and then when they come home, we actually show them where everything is in their own garage because they didn't want to be involved in any of it.
Gary, you said something that sparks a personal need in my case. I have more convertibles than I do garage space. Mm-hmm. Stacking cars. How easy is it for you to put into my garage one of those lifts so that I can, in fact, stack the cars to keep them all inside?
A car lift is very easy to install. The ones we sell use 110 volt power, so there's no special power requirements. They do not need to be bolted to the floor. They're 4-post lifts, and the height requirement is, if you're stacking 2 cars, the height of both cars plus a foot. So most sports cars, we can get by with a 9 to 10 foot ceiling.
I have an MG Midget. Mm-hmm. It's 3 feet 7 inches tall.
You got plenty of room.
Maybe I can do a triple stack.
There you go.
That'd be a great thing. Gary, I look forward to having you at my own home to figure out how to make my garage not only safe and comfortable, but a real wow factor, mm-hmm. where when I drive back into my home and I'm like, wow, it's the greeting of me each evening. What's the best way to get a hold of you to learn more?
You can either go to our website, which is garageliving.com, call us at 564-9951, or stop by our showroom at 8570 Phillips Highway, Suite 113. We're between Sunbeam Road and Bay Meadows Road.
That's excellent. I'm looking forward to seeing how this comes out in my own home. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank Gary for being with us today on the Napa Home and Garden Show. For the Home and Garden Show, I'm Wally Conway. Big event or party at your home or business? The Jacksonville Party Company. Stress-free, flawless, and memorable. Whether it's for children, a retirement, a wedding, or other social or professional activity, it's stress-free, flawless, and memorable when you involve the Jacksonville Party Company. Contact them today to get your event launched at jacksonvillepartycompany.com. Welcome to the Napa Home and Garden Show. I'm Wally Conway. The Napa Home and Garden Show is brought to you by the Northeast Florida Builders Association, who also bring you the finest builders, remodelers, contractors, realtors, lenders, and vendors available anywhere in Florida. One of those with us today from the law firm of Jemerson Cobb is Charlie Jemerson. Charlie, welcome to the Home and Garden Show.
Wally, thank you for having me.
I am happy to have you here. You know, in addition to knowing you're a construction litigator, full-service law firm, having served as counsel for NEFPA, you have done quite a lot of good work in support of builders care. I wanted to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the pleasure's been mine.
And I want to ask you this. You know, it's so important that the relationship between the builder and the contractor is correct. And the only way to know that it's correct is to assure that the contract between the two reflects the expectations of each. How, in your training and education with NEFPA members, are you helping them to understand that and execute that really to the benefit of the consumer?
Well, the fundamentals of any business transaction starts with a meeting of the minds, an agreement as to what are the material terms of the transaction and what are the objectives that everybody's trying to accomplish. If you don't get the terms that you're looking for codified into a contract, it leaves a lot of ambiguity. Ambiguity is gray area, which can ultimately lead to disputes, and you don't want to have that. So
well, those are good for the law firm. Mm-hmm. They're quite bad for the contractor and for the consumer.
You know, I would say that they're bad for everybody, including the law firm.
All right.
We want our clients to have successful businesses wherein they're not bothered with legal issues. But legal issues are inevitable, and that's where we get involved.
What do you say to the old school contractor who says, my word is my bond, I run my business on a handshake?
Well, that's a recipe for disaster. I can give you scores of stories, credible institutional clients who have gone out of business because of that. One mistake on one clause in one contract has cost them their entire business.
Yeah.
Multi-million-dollar businesses gone.
And it goes both ways. That a properly executed contract is a protection and a comfort to the consumer, a protection and a comfort for the contractor. So what I'm hearing you say, not to put words in your mouth, counselor, is that we should never enter into a construction arrangement for a repair, remodel, renovation without clear and specific documentation agreed to by both parties?
Indeed, absolutely. I think that that's prudent, whether it's a personal transaction or a business transaction.
Yeah. You know, I have being a home inspector, we're involved in thousands and thousands of activities around town in housing, and I see a lot of people go to Craigslist as an example, not to speak ill of them, looking to save money, and very often ending up in dispute. How is NEFPA membership, how has that become such a comfort to the consumer to know that there is a quality cut there is a professional cut there, that they can, in fact, expect more from a NEFPA member?
That's a great question. So I think that speaks to what NEFPA does and provides for the community. NEFPA fundamentally is a trade organization comprised of folks who are ingratiated in the construction and building industries. And how does that make them better is really the gist of your question. Well, they're more educated. They're constantly engaged in continuing education initiatives. There's a level of rising tides lifting all the ships when it comes to NEFPA members. Really quality human beings, great businesses who are able to share business practices, be engaged in all of the right circles and be connected to a lot of different resources, whether it be downstream subcontractors and suppliers, or whether it be upstream professional service providers, governmental affairs connections, things of that nature. You're just getting a more sophisticated construction practitioner when you purchase the services of a NEFPA member.
Totally agreed. And for those who may be watching, who are contractors, remodelers, lenders, or vendors looking to be more professional in the building trades, what's the best way for them to make contact with you to have that conversation about the strength of NEFPA and Jemerson Cobb?
Well, I think that you could contact me. Our website is jemersoncobb.com. You'll learn more about the firm, what we do, who we are. My contact information is on that. In terms of NEFPA's contact, nefpa.com, you'll be able to scroll through the leadership. Feel free to contact any of those board members, officers, directors, and any other member companies, because there's a member directory on that website as well.
Good stuff, good stuff. Thank you so much for that.
Pleasure's mine. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Charlie Jemerson from Jemerson Cobb for being with us today on the Napa Home and Garden Show. For the Home and Garden Show, I'm Wally Conway. Home and Garden TV is the place you want to be to meet the best builders and contractors right here on Buzz TV. Welcome to the Napa Home and Garden Show. I'm Wally Conway. Joining us on the Napa Home and Garden Show today from Don'tSlip.com is Blaine Mose. Blaine, welcome to the Home and Garden Show.
Thank you, Wally. It's great to be here.
You know, nothing can be worse than being in my own home or being at a business, slipping, falling. Now, I've injured myself. I got a heel, and likely I have to sue that business too. You know, it'd be a bad thing. So slipping and falling, we can universally agree, is a bad thing.
Absolutely.
How does your company service a floor or treat a floor to minimize the probability of me slipping?
Well, great question. Well, the first thing we do is we come out, we evaluate the floor, the existing floor. We throw some water on it. I have a slip meter that'll test and tell me what the traction is, and then we just go from there. And I have solutions for all kinds of, hard surfaces, and I treat it. I'll do one specific area so we can see and validate how non-slip we can make it, and then we just, do the measurements and go from there. But truly, I can bring you above OSHA ADA guidelines in a short period of time with no downtime.
That fascinates me. Being a home inspector, we have lots of fancy equipment. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of a slip meter. What is the units of measure? Banana peels?
No, it's the amount of, when there's water on any hard surface, it's going to be slippery no matter what. And so the slip meter registers what the...
So it measures the surface tension or the friction?
The friction, exactly.
Got it. Okay,
yep.
Now I understand that. So any hard surface, so if I have a wood floor, and I love my wood floor, mm-hmm. I'm very sensitive to my wood floor, its wellness and not staining it,
right.
You can put your products on there, you put the appropriate product. Does it change the color of my floor?
It will not change the color at all. We have different finishes for wood floors. I have a gloss, I have a matte finish. A lot of calls that I get on wood floors are pet owners where their pets go sliding across the floor. And when I go in there, again, we'll do a small area, and you'll see that your pets will no longer be sliding across your wood floors, but yet you retain the aesthetic look of it.
Interesting. So don't slip. I don't want to slip. Don'tSlip.com.
Right.
I'm getting that. So if all of a sudden it's not slippery, is it more difficult for me to keep clean?
No, that's a great question. I tell you what, I have 4 kids. If I made anything harder to clean, my wife would kill me. And I've done my entire house. So no, it's not more difficult to clean.
So it's an appropriate use product in my home. It's residential use, that's okay.
Yes, sir.
What about if I'm a restaurant owner, a car dealership, a mall? Yep. Is the product medley that you have appropriate to a commercial facility?
Absolutely. It can take foot traffic of hundreds and thousands of people. I've done plenty of commercial properties, including restaurants and some car dealerships, and I provide a 2-year warranty, which says if it falls below ADA or OSHA guidelines, then I would come out and redo that for free. Well, that's not good for me. That's only good for you. Therefore, it holds up for years.
Excellent. And then I should have the expectation, I do this, I treat it, I take care of the floor, that's good. And every 2-3 years, give it a quick refresh.
That's
so
right.
I maintain my friction position.
That's exactly right, Wally.
Fantastic. I'd like to learn more about that. For others who'd like to learn more, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, the best way is check out my website at www.don'tslip.com or call me directly at 904-466-1839. Thank you. Don'tSlip.com. That was genius capturing that domain name. Don'tSlip.com. I got that in my mind. All right.
I'd like to thank Blaine for being with us today on the Napa Home and Garden Show. For the Home and Garden Show, I'm Wally Conway. Welcome to the Napa Home and Garden Show. I'm Wally Conway. The Home and Garden Show features the very finest builders, remodelers, contractors, realtors, lenders, and vendors available anywhere in Florida through the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Joining us on the show from the Bishara Law Firm is Tracy Valente. Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Wally. Thanks for having me.
Something that's on my mind, knowing how important it is that my construction documents are complete, correct, and consistent, and I know that I can trust you and the firm to have that done. Help me understand how the permit process rolls into that in ensuring I'm legal and protected.
That's a very important piece in any construction project, is making sure that the contractor is properly licensed, properly insured, and they pull all the necessary permits for the work to be done on a customer's home. So if any of those three components fail, you potentially have massive liability issues that you as the contractor are facing, as well as you as the homeowner.
There's plenty of liability and vulnerability to go around when the paperwork is not correct.
Oh, absolutely. So if a homeowner has work done and it's unpermitted, the homeowner can be in trouble with the city as well as the individual performing the work. So yeah, it's a joint liability there for work if the permit's not right.
Understood. So join us to better understand how that permit process and construction document process blends together. From Permits Made Simple is Joyce Conway. Joyce, welcome to the Home and Garden Show.
Hi, Wally. Thanks for having me.
So it is really a triple crown of documents. We have the engineering documents, the legal documents, the permit documents. They all need to blend seamlessly together. How does Permits Made Simple help the contractor, the engineer, as well as the law firm assure that third wheel, that third leg of the stool is complete, correct, and consistent?
So we make sure that all the permit documents are correctly filled out and they're in compliance with what the building departments are looking for. So we help the homeowners, the contractors, and the engineers and architects to make sure all of that is complete and handed in properly to protect everybody.
I've heard from contractors, they'll often say, I can do that myself. I can just go do it. What's the value position of having a professional pull the permits and take care of that side of the documentation?
It saves them time, money, and energy. It gives their staff time to focus on what's important in their business so we can do what we're good at.
You know, I've noticed also if a contractor is pulling a permit or two a month, there's not much expertise there. There's no relationship at the various building departments.
Exactly.
How do the existing relationships that you have amongst the building departments, how does that bring value to the contractor and homeowner?
Well, it brings a lot of value to them. It allows us to communicate with them and work with them to get things done in a fast and quick manner, as well as always do it right. And they also a lot of times will work with us. If something's not right, they give us an opportunity to fix it without it delaying their project.
Excellent. You know, Tracy, it comes to my mind when someone hasn't pulled proper permits and now we're transferring property and we have other problems, what nightmares can I have as a homeowner or the contractor when it's suddenly discovered, oops, unpermitted work?
Well, that can lead to a host of problems. Your worst case scenario potentially is the work has to be torn out. Because if there weren't permits, that means it wasn't inspected. There probably wasn't engineering drawings that went with that. So it could be a financial disaster if you're caught with unpermitted work, because the city has every right to come in and make you undo it. If it's an addition, if it's electrical work, I mean, you can really end up destroying a lot of other property that could be affected based upon that one mistake. That's a very costly mistake.
Understood. Knowing that you're both very involved with professional women in building through NEFPA, how has the relationships through the professional women in building in NEFPA helped you to strengthen your position as a business person and delivering better service to the end customer?
Well, NEFPA started PWB, which is Professional Women in Building. It's a council of that, and it's only about 1.5 years old, and we so far have had amazing success in recruiting women in the building industry. And it's lawyers, permits, we've got contractors, realtors, everyone involved in associated with that building. And it's a wonderful network opportunity for all of these people to and it's not just women, but men are welcome.
I've been.
You have been, and we appreciate it. It's a wonderful networking opportunity, so you get to learn about other people, and you can help support other businesses in the local area. And you know that if they're part of NEFPA and if they're members of PWB, they're going to be professional. They're going to try to do it the right way, and you have an extra layer of trust there for these other professionals that you're working with.
Great way to stand out from the masses. What's the best way for a person to get involved or make contact initially with professional women in building?
So you can reach us by going on the NEFPA website. There is a Professional Women in Building link on there, as well as our Facebook, or you could give us a call at NEFPA, and they can put you in contact with us.
I'd like to thank Tracy as well as Joyce for being with us today on the NEFPA Home and Garden Show. For the Home and Garden Show, I'm Wally Conway.
I grew up in Alabama, and scouting was a big deal there. I started as a Cub Scout and went all the way through Boy Scouts and ended up earning my Eagle Scout. I'm proud to say both my boys are Eagle Scouts. Scouting was, to me, the number one thing I wanted to make sure that they did. And if you see that on a resume, it sort of checks the box that this individual is goal-oriented, strong character, strong morals. So fundamentally, I think you kind of know that you got a base to work with.
Sign your child up for Scouts at beascout.org today.
Welcome to the NEFPA Home and Garden Show. I'm Wally Conway. The NEFPA Home and Garden Show features the very finest builders, remodelers, lenders, vendors, and realtors from the Northeast Florida Builders Association. Joining us today on the Home and Garden Show from Jet Home Loans is Jason Kindler. Jason, welcome to the Home and Garden Show.
Hey, Wally, good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic.
Good.
You know, a lot of us would like to own a new home. One of the critical pieces to owning a new home is bringing a new bag of money to the builder so that we can execute that dream, yeah?
Absolutely.
Help me understand how Jet Home Loans helps me bridge that challenge of assuring I have the money, maybe even before I picked out the home.
Sure, absolutely. As far as the consumer, if you are looking for a new home, if you're just starting that process, the best thing that you can do is to get pre-qualified. You want to get pre-qualified and want to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, and so that it makes the transaction much smoother on your end, so that when you go to, you're looking at new construction, you go to a builder, you've already got your pre-qualification. You're ready to go. You've got a strong offer. You're ready to move forward with the process. So,
for the first-time home buyer in particular, some of this terminology really trips them up.
Sure.
What is the difference between being pre-approved and pre-qualified?
So the first step is the pre-qualification. The pre-qualification, the way that we do it at Jet Home Loans, is we will talk to the client, run the credit report, and review all the information that was given by the client. That will give the pre-qualification. The next step is our loan officers reviewing the documentation, and that next step is a pre-approval. So once we've reviewed all the documentation, we issue a pre-approval letter, and that is, telling a builder, a seller that everything's been reviewed and you're good to go.
It's almost like carrying around a check with an amount on it. All they need to do is put the builder's name
Almost.
in it, and they can own the home. Only one step away. That's pretty good.
Absolutely.
I know that it's critical in new construction that the loan officer, the loan company have a very strong relationship with the builder.
Yeah,
I've invited Beatty McGraw from Dream Finders to be with us to talk more about how that relationship makes it simpler for that home buyer to be comfortably approved and get into the home quick. Beatty, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Wally. Appreciate you having me in.
I like that. Very often people will say to the builder, yeah, but I'm going to go shop my loan here, I'm going to shop my loan over there. Why is it so important to the consumer that they're working with a loan officer, a loan company, where there's already a strong existing relationship?
Sure. Well, it's twofold. One, as Jason mentioned, the pre-approval or pre-qualification process is key to the consumer, so that we're shopping for a new home, not only the plan they are looking at or the community they're looking at, but the options they may want to add to a new home. That's kind of the point of buying a new home, to have that customization, that personalization. So to understand exactly what they can afford is key when they come into the model to begin the process. Secondly, it's streamlining that through, from selection of the home to options to closing. So for us, we found that a strong allegiance with a particular lender allows us to know that that buyer, when they walk into the showroom, that they can buy, they're qualified, we can work with them, and then we can deliver an expectation in a timely fashion.
I've heard on occasion that the builders as well as the lenders will have a collaborative relationship, not only to speed up the process, but sometimes there's an economic advantage to that home buyer. How does that relationship work to the economic advantage of the home buyer by dealing?
Absolutely. Well, that's a great point, Wally. And we have such a relationship with Jet Home Loans. We will provide an incentive to the buyer if they will use Jet Home Loans, our preferred lender. That's essentially a no closing cost transaction for them. We are going to pay all the loan fees, all the documentary stamp costs, the prepaids, everything. Essentially, they're going to make their down payment on the home, and the rest is going to be on us, assuming that they will work with Jet.
There's thousands of dollars in incentives.
It is thousands of dollars, and that's obviously the advantage of working with Jet versus working with someone else that maybe from outside that they've had an experience with. And it's not to discount that other person that the consumer may have a relationship with, but it's in order to maximize efficiency and quality of service. And Jet is backed by Prime Lending, Plains Capital Bank out of Texas, which is one of the largest mortgage banks in the country. Right. And they really do a fantastic job. We hand selected them over many years of working through that process to finding the right fit, for us and for our customers.
So at Dream Finders, you'll accept a bag of cash, you'll accept money from another lender, but for the person that isn't bringing the bag of cash or bringing another lender, your preference would be that they work with Jason and the team at Jet Home.
There is a discount for cash for those in the audience, but the closing cost incentive actually is something that's exclusive to Jet Home Loans for Dream Finders. At least within the Jacksonville market.
Got it. Jason, you mentioned to me that it's really more important to that home buyer to get their money in line before they've even picked the community. What's the best way to get hold of you at Jet Home Loans?
So the best way, Wally, at Jet Home Loans, go to our website at www.jethethl.com.
Got it. So now that I've got my bag of money in order, what's the best way to choose my community and my model home from Dream Finders?
The process all starts on our website, www.dreamfindershomes.com.
Dreamfindershomes.com. I'd like to thank Beatty and Jason for being with us today on the Home and Garden Show. For the Home and Garden Show, I'm Wally Conway.